Hey pals, my pups, my little pups, my puppies. Hey my little pups, my pupperinis, my little pupperonis, my pupperoni pizzas. Pepperoni is when you make pepperoni out of dog meat and you put it on a pizza and you eat it and it's delicious. I'll eat a fucking dog. I'll eat a dog in a second. I'll fly to China and I'll eat a shitload of dogs. And I'll bring some back for all my friends to enjoy. Which means I get to eat it all myself because I won't have friends anymore because they'll all hate me because I ate dog. Anyway, speaking of eating dogs, look at how I ate up this paintings of this dog that I'm painting. That was a link. It's Peter the Peter Puppy from Perthworm Pim. He seekers in Earthworm Jim 1. If he gets hurt by the aliens and shit, then he goes all psychotic and spazzes out. I was gonna say warp spasms out like Slain, which he kind of does. But then his spazzing out, that's got to be an offensive term, hasn't it? There's warp spasm used in the Slain comic, but then his spasm, I guess spasm is like a muscle spasm, so that's fine. But then if you say to spaz out, I think that's maybe to do with the word spastic, which is probably a bit bad. This went off differently to how I intend. Oh wow! Look at me paint the seekers, and then in the second game, you've got to catch the puppies that are being thrown out of the window by Psychro, which is quite a psychotic thing to do. So I guess it fits his name. And then they splat on the ground with a brilliant sound effect. But if too many of them splat on the ground, Peter Puppy gets all mad and he goes all psychotic and mutates into the big gnarly dog you see on the right hand side. And so if I'm going to paint Peter Puppy, it's only proper that I paint Peter Puppy in both phases of his peeing. See, that was being, but with a P. For the pink, I used red and white, but also a little blue to make it a little bit of a purpley pink, and a little bit of brown, like a raw umber, just to dull it down just a little bit. And similarly, with the purple, it was a cobalt blue and a crimson red, with a little bit of cerulean blue just to make it a little tiny bit richer. Maybe a little bit of phthalo blue to make it a bit darker also. And that's I say all of this to let you know that it's you got to mix your colours until you find what works. So obviously you think pink, you go sure, red and white, sure, brilliant, cool. But then you can mix in all kinds of other shit. You can mix in bits of yellow ochre to get it just a little bit more like fleshy kind of coloured, and then a bit of brown to like tone it down a little bit. Bits of blue if you want to make it a little bit more purple. I've not tried adding green to my pink concoctions, but then I guess that would just be red, yellow and blue adding to the red, which would then just start to make it brown, which I guess isn't a bad thing, but I can just add brown to it if I want to add a fucking brown to it. Anyway, wow! Look at how juicy and delicious the one on the right looks. I've got to say, I'm pretty happy with myself. For one thing, for the pose, for fitting him into such a small space, bending him over backwards like that. My favourite parts are the little flap of skin joining his hind leg to his belly. I'm really proud of that. And also the highlighting on his ribs, because it's quite a subtle highlight. It's not like too harsh with, using lines to define the ribs. So I was quite happy with myself for that, and just the shape and ferociousness that I captured overall on that one. And the Peter Puppy on the left, I like it. I do like the purple glow I did underneath. That's just to sort of, rather than just have shadow, if you throw in a bit of a different colour there, it gives it a little bit more flavour to it. But I didn't know if I should just draw him standing there looking like a dummy, because then there's not really much going on. So I figured I'd put in one of the little puppies being thrown on his bonce right in front of him, bonking onto the ground, and have Peter Puppy looking all worried and scared, which then causes him to mutate into the one on the right. Getting the outlines in, as you do, the dark red, black and red. It's not quite black, it's a black and a red mixture, mostly black with a little bit of red, just for a little bit of extra pizzazz in there. The underglow, the underlighting on the one on the right is pretty effective, I feel, too. The turquoise mixes in with the background quite well, and helps sort of define some of the shapes and gives a bit more depth and form to the image. And then we get the white highlights, which is the finishing touch. Always give a nice shine, a nice sheen, a nice gloss to the finished pieces. These finished paintings of Peter Puppy. Wow, look at that, 2 at once. Like I'm a god or something. Wow, I'm brilliant. I'm the fucking best. And I'd still eat a dog.